Hey folks, so in the title I promised a HDRI or an HDRI and I intend to deliver that immediately. It is here, this drive link on my Discord server, which is linked in the description. It's in the announcements channel. Usually I'll post this stuff in the server assets, but sometimes it just makes it over to here. If you're in the future, it's in the pinned messages. It is a nice HDRI, even though I can't use it for my projects because it does not meet my usual quality standards. More details are in the message. But you guys can use that in your projects. And yeah, you can have fun with that. I would also just appreciate you guys joining the Discord because I'm trying to grow my community as much as possible. It's already rather active, but the more the merrier. And by the way, the model that we're going to be working on today, that will be up for free when it is done. The textured version will not be up for free, but the clay version likely will. We're working on we're working on um, figuring out the logistics of texturing it right now because I don't want to have to do that after I already spent months modeling it. But yeah, let's get to some modeling, and hopefully you guys stick around. I know a lot of you guys are here for the HDRI, but hey, it's always nice to chill with y'all. So I will see you in one moment. All right, folks. So I'm back. Today we're gonna be making some pipe greebles. Don't intend to narrate any. I don't intend to narrate everything about this. Just because it'd either be extremely boring and I'd have to do it at real time, or it would be very fast and I would fumble my words, and I fumble my words hard enough when I'm just talking, So I don't want I don't want that extra pressure. You see what I mean, man? It's rough. It's very rough. Um. Anyways, so these are mainly background assets, so I'm not going to put a whole ton of time into them. I was just kind of messing around with these for a little bit today. I was like, these are pretty cool. Might as well just do some fun stuff, record it. Um, I think I already mentioned the spaceship asset will be up for free when it's done, but that might be in a little while. Sometimes it's hard to motivate yourself to work and something like that. You see me planning out my booleans here, by the way. I don't want to narrate every part of this, but this is important. So I've done things like making sure I have a reasonable poly count on this cylinders, and also adding support loops before I cut so that I have more geometry to work with. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter too much if your support loops you don't need them. Like I'll delete some and then re-add them. It's like, okay, that's pretty cool. But yeah, man, I mean, this was a very quick cleanup. I don't remember precisely how long it took. I think just looking at my timeline, I think it was like 10 or 15 minutes, which is like, it's actually probably a little bit less. Maybe like 7 minutes. I don't know. It was pretty good for intersecting cylinders and toruses and all that weird shit. Um, but yeah, I mean, like, gotta plan out your booleans, bros. Because like, not only do you get a much cleaner mesh, but like, it's just so much more fun to work with it. Look at this. This is a pretty neat mesh. No, there's no pinching, no distortion, nothing. There's just, honestly, it's not really too hard, but it's like really cool to see whenever you do it properly. By the way, don't be afraid to like push stuff around a little bit. A little bit of pinching is a lot more noticeable than like a slight distortion of this sphere, even if that distortion covers a bigger area. One important thing as well is like don't be too attached to your shapes. That's not going to come up too much in this one, but it's like I do some stuff like I'm rotating that big turbo pump thing, and I just decided not go with it because it doesn't really work. Watching a time lapse modeling is actually just really fun though. It's really neat to see how you're like watch your thought process go like super fast. It's like this is I think the speed at which it stops becoming like boring. Like no shade to any creators, but like just modeling time lapses in general get old pretty quickly. Um, I don't know. I could just be biased. I probably just am. Um, Also that little cylinder thing that's gonna be a pipe that's gonna come up at the very end. I don't do anything with it for a little while, but that's like I'm just planning my shit out, right? Um, but yeah, I mean, this isn't a super complicated models, and like I'm not gonna be able to describe what I'm doing as good as some other people will be able to. So I'm just gonna leave that to the experts. Don't really see a point to get too involved in that. I do want to kind of talk about just some random stuff though that's just been on my mind with like art and shit. So like for instance, I'm currently so I dropped out of college like a couple months ago because I just can't do school. Or just it's kind of just like it's a done deal. Like what am I trying to say? It's not a done deal. What am I saying? Oh well, it's just something I can't do. Like my mind is kind of programmed against it. Obviously, if you held a knife to my throat, it's like I'll do it, but like it's not something I will voluntarily do. That caused a lot of struggle, but I'm finding some success in my freelance endeavors, and that's pretty fun. Hopefully, gonna get a job at some studios pretty soon. Can't really count on that right away though. But you know what? Can't stop hoping. I don't really have a whole lot of thoughts on just art stuff in general. Obviously I have a lot of like technical skills and shit, right? Which I like to mess around with, but and I do have thoughts on like the philosophies of art. And I do think that that's not covered anywhere near enough um on the YouTube like Blender space because like most people are enamored by glorious shots of like I don't know nebulas, spaceships, and landscapes and all that fun stuff. And like not everybody really thinks about what goes on behind the scenes. It's like how long it takes to get there because I can give you as many free assets as you want. I can drown you in freebies. I have so much stuff saved on my computer that like I mean I would never you'd probably be completely satisfied for like a year if you just had my hard drive. That sounds a little bit arrogant. I don't really mean it that way. I'm just saying like if you're like a newer artist and you want to play with some fun stuff, I've got enough fun stuff, right? Um, Pretty much every experienced artist has some fun stuff. But like what does that do for you? Like that doesn't do a whole lot. Well, in the grand scheme of things because you it's very hard to learn from just getting shit. Like for instance, I didn't start out specializing in nodes. Shocker. I specialized in hard surface. Um, which is why that's sort of like a secondary specialty right now. Like I'm not going to get a job in hard surface, maybe, or maybe I will. You never know. But I don't think I could get a job with my current skill set, and nor am I trying to. Right? Like that. There are enough hard surface modelers already. I don't need um that nobody needs a silly goose like me to do their hard surface stuff for them. Even if I end up being perfectly capable. Um, but that's not a guarantee either, right? But I got off topic there, didn't I? What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Um, yeah, like I certainly use not many people really understand that most of the stuff in just like what I do in art is not inspired directly from Blender shit that I see. Like I don't get my ideas from always from like Blender renders. In fact, it's very hard to get ideas on how to do shit just from Blender renders, right? Like Blender renders are great, or even just renders in general, they're great. But a lot of people get stuck up in the hype of like, oh, just looking at renders all day will make me be able to do fun stuff. And it's like, yeah, I mean, actually a lot of people work like that. They're able to just take direct inspiration from artwork they see. And I'm like that too to some degree, right? But most of my ideas and most of my novel inspirations, they don't come from Blender. They come from other places completely outside of Blender, right? Like I've been looking at some Minecraft shit recently, right? Because I watch Minecraft videos when I'm just modeling, right? Just because they're excellent, like background, eh, excellent background stuff for just to listen to. They're endlessly entertaining. Shout out to my Hermitcraft members; those guys are really fun. Um, it's like I got into from that. I got into like watching some technical Minecraft shit, and from there, I found some people who I enjoy listening to, and from there, those guys like kind of inspired me to do some fun shit with like redstone, and then from there, like there's this entire train of shit that just kept on rolling until it eventually made it back to Blender. All right, and if you want a specific example of that, like the Minecraft shit, that led to me trying to do Fourier transforms in Blender. Fourier transforms in Blender. It was a very convoluted mess of inspirations and shit, but it's like it's an example of how different, completely different things can overlap, and that's where all the interesting stuff in art comes from. Just shit overlapping in ways that you didn't expect. That's something that's really interesting about how humans work is that they're able to connect a lot of fun stuff. So that's it for me. I'm gonna sign off. I'll see you guys later.